The 2022 Texas Tribune Festival wrapped up in downtown Austin today. The festival dives into all things politics and policy here in Texas and nationwide. Joining us tonight is Ian Mitra, the senior managing editor for the Tribune, to talk about the high points of today's Trib Fest events. Good evening, Ian.
Good evening.
Okay, so as we know, Austin is changing quickly from the traffic to affordability. Did Austin mayoral candidates Celia, Israel, and Kirk Watson address this during their interviews today?
You know, housing affordability was front and center for Celia, Israel, and Kirk Watson in their appearances at the festival. You know, they both talked about aspects of the permitting process, making it more efficient, also changes to the land code. And they also talked about how leadership was required on these things. You know, Celia Israel talked about how she would create a weekly standing workforce session, a standing item that would address issues of land use, permitting, regulations, and fees. You know, and Kirk Watson talked about, like focusing on creating minimum building requirements for certain parcels of land rather than maximum. And also he talked about the aspect of creating a decision tree that really focuses on a clear purpose, clear communication, and accountability. So it was very much first and foremost on their minds in today's discussions at the festival.
Yeah, big conversations during this race. Now, the police chiefs of Austin, Houston, and San Antonio talked about retention, case backlogs, and gun laws, among many other topics. What were the main takeaways?
Yeah, so in terms of the gun laws, I think there is a very clear support for the Second Amendment, but also Austin Police Chief Joe Chacon talked about that there are some gun crimes on the increase, and cited potentially like aspects related to proper safety storage and legislation, or potentially just kind of focusing on that. The aspect of retention and recruitment is also, all three chiefs talked a lot about just kind of the challenges there. Whether it's the Houston Police Chief talking about the impacts of Harvey as well as COVID. The Austin Police Chiefs talk about how the challenges of finding qualified candidates now, and the San Antonio Police Chief also talked about the impact of a lot of retirements. And so just keeping a full force has been a challenge, but they were kind of talking a lot about just kind of the efforts to build up on their recruitment, retention, and training.
And you can't talk Texas politics without talking about gun laws and abortion rights. What did politicians say today?
I mean, gun laws are, again, and abortion law was first and foremost in a lot of the conversations. Senator Ted Cruz appeared at the festival today, got a question about potential any laws related to guns, and was fiercely defending the laws that are on the books, saying that it wouldn't be safer to create new gun laws, saying particularly targeting assault-style weapons, saying that law-abiding citizens shouldn't be affected. He was heckled a little bit in his address, but really answered those questions by talking about arming school officers and having more resource officers on campuses, as well as different other mechanisms of school safety, like fewer entrances. That's where he focused on. There's a lot of talk about the whole aspect of raising the age of minimum age to buy assault-style weapons from 18 to 21. Senator Cruz was firmly against that, but it's been a lot of talk and some discussion over the weekend of the festival. And also related to abortion, today, Karl Rove, very well-known Republican strategist, said that the Texas abortion ban is too extreme, and said it could cause some trouble and some discussion in the legislative session that comes up in 2023. And also there were some local DAs who talked on a panel saying that trying to prosecute would be a big challenge on their resources and probably impractical for a lot of them. So, there's the debate over abortion law and whether and the prosecution of the law is going to continue to be a source of debate into the elections as well as into the legislative session.
Certainly conversations we will continue to have. Ian, with the Texas Tribune, thank you so much for joining us tonight on KVUE.
Thank you.